So Usman retained his title against Colby Covington. I've got to give credit to Colby. That guy is one tough son of a bitch. I know he's done his best to make everyone hate him, but it's gotten to a point now where I think a lot of people, yeah, you might think he's a dickhead, but you have to respect them. The guy's 16-2, and the two are against Usman. And in those fights, he pushed him harder than anyone has in a long time and had some really good moments. As good as Covington did in this fight, I think he could have done even better. And that's not me criticizing him. I just think mentally, he was quite affected by the last fight. You look at Usman here, and as he's walking over to Colby, Colby's got his back to him. That's not good. That isn't good. I get that you're ignoring him and whatever, but you want to meet him head on. You want him to think, I don't give a fuck about that last fight. I truly believe I can win this. And that was kind of the story of the fight. Early on, I felt like Covington was much more tentative than what we usually see him. He was on the back foot and allowing Usman to take the center and allowing Usman to be in control. That never happened in the first fight at all. And that was why he did so well. He came into the fight well later on, once Usman had slowed down a little bit, because he'd allowed Usman to expend a lot of energy and dominate a lot of the early exchanges. And he started having some success, but it was too late. When you're a pressure fighter, you've got to pull the trigger from the get-go, because the only way he ever had a prayer of getting Usman out of there is from that pace, that exhaustion, that insane whirlwind that he brings, and he brought it too late in the fight. I still want to give him credit, even though this was a great win by Usman. Like, the guy got dropped and bounced back up like a elastic band snaps back. Like, he was good very quickly. This is a great fighter we're looking at in Colby, and I got slated a while back when I compared him to GSP and said I think he might be better than GSP, and that might be bullshit, right? Fair enough. You can disagree, whatever. The point is, he deserves to be in the conversation as top 5 welterweights of all time. I believe he's top 3. I think he's clearly better than Woodley, clearly better than Matt Hughes. It's GSP and Usman in the top 2, and then it's Colby, in my opinion. And it's just unfortunate that the kid is in the era of one of the best fighters in UFC history. Not even welterweight, just best fighters. It's the jolt of his neck. You really see this connected so solidly here. Ooh, like, that's a knockout. That is a knockout. How on earth Colby recovered from both of those? And Usman is a fucking finisher. Do you know what I mean? This guy is not a slouch. In terms of where Usman's at right now in his UFC career, top 5 all time. Anyway, simple as. The guy has proved his point. He has been through a hell of a stacked weight class and demolished them all. And even when he didn't do quite as good a job as he wanted to, he went back and he knocked them fucking clean out again. This is a champion. Champion is a word that gets thrown around in the UFC because they slap belts on people very quickly. And those guys then get the belt, lose the belt, and it's a hot potato. We're seeing an era right now, the Usman era. And a lot of people are not enjoying the roses while they're here to be smelt because they're too busy worrying about, oh, don't say he's as good as GSP. GSP was this, GSP was that. Usman, he's rubbish at this. It's like, just, you don't have to put Usman down to protect your fanboying for GSP. Like, you can say they're both great, you prefer GSP, whatever, but don't lie and put Usman down and say he isn't this, he isn't that. Motherfucker, he is greatness. This guy is greatness. You know, and I find myself getting wound up going, well, what about this for GSP? What about that for GSP? I see someone tweet going, there's no debate who's better. It's clearly GSP. There's a debate, bro. Yeah, there's a debate because they were both great. Let's just have it right. There was some hiccups in GSP's career, and Usman's had, you know, one very early on where he lost a fight very early, which I think is far more excusable than being at the peak of your powers and getting tapped out to strikes by Matt Serra. Usman's chin, can you even imagine him getting rocked by Matt Serra, let alone dropped, tapped out to strikes and beat the living hell out of? You know, I know you avenged the loss. So what, bro? You tapped the strikes to Matt Serra, and this is not the legacy of GSP. GSP is a great fighter, but when so many people are coming at Usman, I'm like, do you remember Johnny Hendricks making GSP look like he was in a car accident? Usman, no one does that. you know? And Usman may lose a fight one day. It may happen, whatever. The point is, he's in an era of dominance that has the right to be compared to Anderson Silva, John Jones, JSP, anyone else, Fedor, any of them. This motherfucker is greatness, man. He can hold his own on the ground. He is a world-class wrestler who has 100% takedown defense. On the feet, he's grown so much as a fighter. The power he has in his hands, I mean, the way he knocked Masvidal out, amazing. No one's ever done that to him. If you look at the level of a Colby Covington, of Masvidal, of some of the other fighters that Usman has put to the sword, and then compare that to JSP and who he beat, I think they stand up fairly fucking well. Very well, in fact, because it was a different era. The more I learn about fighting, the more I realize, like, you can't, you know, the whole Tyson and Ali and all of these comparisons. We've just got greatness in different generations. Appreciate it while it's here. Fuck the comparisons off and just say, yeah, we can see there's similarities. He's great like he was great. Fine. I wouldn't have said that shit about JSP if it wasn't for how many people we've seen on Twitter just hammering Usman's achievement. I'm like, appreciate this guy. He won't be here forever. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to look good when you're on the way to the gym and in the gym, although you shouldn't look too good in the gym, that's part of going to the gym, remember? Do pick up your Gymshark clothing using the link in the description below. Don't forget, Black Friday sales, Thursday, the 18th of November, up to 70% off. Hopefully you enjoy that. Stay subscribed to True Geordie Extra for more combat sports videos. See you later.